Hi, this is HJ here, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to build a proper suburban house in Minecraft. Now, this is going to incorporate different styles of mine that I like to incorporate in my suburban houses, so you guys should be able to replicate this by the end of the video. Now, if you guys do enjoy the video, please be sure to hit the like, comment, and subscribe button, and let's begin. So for starters, what you're going to want to do is, if you're going to create this on a flat world, you're going to want to use the following flat world preset. So to start, create a new world, and you should see this screen. And then over here where it says flat world preset, you want to select the overworld preset. This will give you some extra height on your infinite super flat world, and it'll allow you to build underground properly without hitting bedrock almost immediately. Once you have this set, go ahead and create it with the cheats enabled if you prefer to have cheats enabled. For this house, you can always leave them off, but I prefer building this in creative mode with cheats on, just so it doesn't get dark on you, and if you need to use commands, you have that option as well. So let me turn the music down really quickly, and then we can start building. So the first thing to remember when building this is, since the plot is empty on a flat world, you won't have anything obstructing your view. Now, the first materials that you're going to need is you're going to need bricks, dark oak planks, going to need an oak door, black stained glass pane. You're going to need fences, so get an oak fence, or you can use a fence of your choice. For this one, I'm going to use an oak fence. You want to use stone stairs, and then you're also going to need some other materials later, but for now, we'll just start with this. So to start from the 0, 0, 0 coordinate, and this is going to be your garage. Start here, place 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Now you're going to come up here to where you started, and you're going to go to the right 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3, space. Now this is where you'll grab your quartz block. This is going to be your garage door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now switch back to your brick block. 1, 2, 3. Now go one more to make it 4, and then come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is going to give you 2 blocks here for your window, and then use the 7th block to give you a little bit of spacing right there. Now you're going to come over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, space for your door. So then you're going to leave that space there for your door and use the stair as a placeholder, which that's what I prefer doing, but you don't have to. You can use oak for a placeholder too, as we're going to build a patio out here in just a second. Now you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you're going to come all the way back to where this part is right here, where it's lined up with that, and then drag all the way back over. So now you have the framework for the base of your house. Now, the cool thing to remember here is that since you have this space right here and you have a garage, you can technically do a bonus room inside the roof on the left-hand side, which I'll show you guys more towards the end. Now, from here, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then cross over. This back part over here is the actual kitchen, living room, dining room, and the staircase part of your house. This box up here is on the bottom floor is going to be for the garage. Now we're going to go ahead and start building upwards and creating our window patterns. So to go upwards, start from this corner and go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do the same thing for the remaining blocks on the front. And then if you prefer to do so, you can also fill in the remaining blocks on the interior wall here and also on the outside wall going over the garage door. So I'll show you guys that really quick. And notice how I'm working in the first floor before I start jumping to the second floor. Some people might argue, well, why not do the second floor on the left hand side first? Why not do it in a different order? There's a particular reason why I do it in this order, which you'll hear from me on that in just a second. So now I'm just gonna go over. Now your garage door ideally needs to be 4 blocks to 5 blocks high. I'm gonna do mine 4 blocks high, and I'm going to continue to fill this in just like that. And then I also have my outer window for the garage over here. Now I can connect the top. Okay, so now we have that done. Now we have to do the outside wall for the rest of the house. So I'm just going to do just like this. You can also use a 3-block wide window seal, or you can use 2 blocks. For me, I'm going to do mine like this and use 2 blocks for the window seal. Okay, now fill in the top again, and then fill in above the door frame right here. Okay, there you go. Now we just got to fill in the rest of the house on the side. Now, if you prefer to have windows on the side, you can cut these out later. Me personally, I don't like to have windows going all the way around the house, just on the parts that are like typically visible from the front of the street. So I'm just gonna fill in the rest of this like so, and then after I fill in this, we can go ahead and go to the floor plan. So just take the bricks and just fill it in all the way across. No big deal if you make a mistake, just go ahead and delete the previous block. I know some people misplace them, and keep right on going. You can also pause the video if needed. Now we're going to go ahead and fill in the floor. For this, I've selected dark oak planks just to keep it consistent. If there are any animals that get inside your house, you can always kill them. Do the /kill at E command if you have cheats enabled, or you can hit them out of the way. Personal preference, I'm just going to hit mine out of the way, since the animals do spawn sometimes in the middle of our house. Continue filling this in until the dark oak completely covers the entire first 1-block elevated floor of the interior rooms of the house. Once you've gotten this filled in, then we can take our time to do the top floor on the left hand side. So for that, what we'll have to do is we will have to establish first another wall here. This is just as a placeholder so we know where the second floor begins and where the second floor terminates on this level. So just create your little wall here and create a door if necessary. Now we have ourselves a little door. Wait, we forgot something. Let's make sure this is symmetrical first. This is 5 blocks, this is 6. So in the case where it's not symmetrical, you can always do a broad, like open entryway to the dining room and kitchen, which will make this 4 blocks, make that 4 blocks, or you can do a simple door frame like this, where it is split in the middle. Me personally, I prefer to have the open dining room concept where you can just walk freely into the dining room. It just seems a lot better to me. Now, in this particular scenario, there's 2 things we have to consider. First off, this roof. So the way the roof has to be done is going to be really weird. So pay attention and pause the video if needed. So the way the roof has to be done, you have to start on the outsides of the building on all sides. So starting from here, like right, just like that. You have to do all of that first. And then you have to connect it in an asymmetrical fashion before you can go back in with the stairs and redo it to make it symmetrical on the top. And there's a reason why I say it like that. So if you start with the outside of the house like this, where it comes out some, it's never going to be symmetrical. So there's a special way that you have to treat it in order to get it to be symmetrical. So I'm going to show you guys how I do mine. So how I do mine is I typically start over here, and then whatever's on the top, I find a way to balance it out or delete some blocks, or make some adjustments to make it as even as possible. And then I go inside the house and do the second floor from within the house, so that I'm not trying to work from the outside in and messing everything up. So as you can see right here, what I'm doing is I'm just connecting what I can connect, and then the areas on top that I can't connect, I have a different plan for that. So I'll just go over here and start this, but then I won't finish it. It's gonna make sense in just a second once I get past this portion, because it's a little bit jumbled up right now. But as soon as I get past this portion, it will definitely make sense. So now that I have that part done, same thing over here, just connect these pieces. And then there's a special technique that I have to show you to get the outside wall on my right side done, and also get the top part to line up. So now I'm just going to connect this part down here and connect that. All right, so this is where it gets very tricky. So in the event that you have an issue like this, where it's all kinds of discombobulated, you'll want to make sure that this slopes off into this area over here, which is already sloped and symmetrical, so that way the top part that doesn't line up smoothens in to the bottom part that does line up with the rest of the roof on the house. And so now your roof is going to be symmetrical, just like that. Now when you do the stairs, there's also going to be some asymmetricalness to it, and then we're going to fix that as well. So I'm going to start by doing my stairs on the outside to do the tile panels on the roof. That's what these are supposed to represent in Minecraft, are the tile panels that go onto the roof. So I'm going to do the outline for it first, and then when I get to the interior on the top left, I'm gonna have to use some smooth stone slabs to actually make a correction to that portion of the roof that's not symmetrical, to actually make it as symmetrical as possible. So now I'm gonna go over with the stairs all the way and just fill it in like I would do the brick part that I just did. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. Again, pause the video if needed, so that if it doesn't make sense to you, then you guys can get a better understanding as to how this works. Now, ideally, I would want to leave this right here for the time being, because in just a second, I'm going to go back in and correct that. After this, I'll get my smooth stone slabs, and then I can begin correcting that. If this comes out, don't worry about it. It's supposed to. Okay. Now do the same thing here. Just connect them all together in the same way that you did the front of the house. All right, keep going. There we go. Now over here, same thing. Do the outside, and then continue to go across. Do the outside over here. So do the final 3 down here. And make sure, if you guys did what I did over there, where it's a little bit of an overhang, make sure you copy it over here just so it looks right. Okay, now go across. Keep going. All right, cool. Almost there. Got one more to do. All right, now we can take out the smooth stone slabs, and I'll show you guys what to do. So from here, cut this part off, and then again, slope them inwards. So that way they're perfectly lined up. Now use the stone slabs here and cover this part of the roof up so that the stairs over here go into the smooth slabs before completing the drop off. Same thing here, do the same thing and do the overhang. And then from here, add the stairs underneath in the middle right here to that overhang to complete the process. There we go. Now we have a little bit better roof right now. If you want to add another part of the house to completely do the same thing that you did on this side, but just over here, you can do that. Me personally, I don't have the time, and I really think that's just too complicated to do. But if you want to and you prefer it that way, then if you choose to, that is your choice. Now we're on the inside. So remember I talked about the second floor. So the interesting thing about the second floor is that, first off, the second floor that I have here, I'm not going to go over the garage. Now, if you want to go over the garage, you can go over the garage. Me, I'm going to stick to the back side of the house, just because the back side of the house has, right here in the middle, has a little bit more of an opening, and it's not as constricted by this outer wall over here. So I'm just going to use this part of the house to do that. So fill it in with your dark oak, and you can always add lighting also later down the line as we get farther down. So I'm just going to add this here. Your stairs are going to be right here. And the cool thing about having the stairs right there is that it's not going to be hard to get up and down the stairs. It should not be, as the current area that I'm using I guess I'm trying to figure out the best way to put this. The current area that I'm using has enough space where you're not going to have your stairs cut off by the sloped part of the wall. Now I'm going to put some torches, or you can use hanging lanterns if you prefer. I'm just going to use torches for this because it's a lot easier. So I'm just going to do it like that. Put some torches all over on the inside. Maybe put a couple over here. Not right there, just where the kitchen area is going to be at in the future. I won't be doing an interior. If you guys want to see an interior video, leave a comment down below and let me know if you guys want to see the interior being done. The interior is completely subjective. That is what the user decides that they want to do for their interior. I don't think that my interior is going to be necessarily the same preferred across the board, so I'm going to leave the interior off for this episode, but you're more than welcome to add one. Look up interiors or comment down below if you want to see how I would do my interior, just as a little bit of a bonus. So now that we have the overall structure of the house done, we can now add our door right here. And we can now add our little patio section right here that we're going to hopefully be able to use so that we can cover up the roof and also have a way to access the porch of the front of the house. Not the porch of the house, the front of the house. The front of the house. Gosh, gotta learn how to say that today. Alright, so we're going to fill this in with the oak planks, and then if you see above us, we're actually going to fill it in with stone blocks just to keep it consistent. So I'm going to go over here, grab regular stone to replace the glass pane for now, and I'm actually going to fill this entire thing in with regular stone. So this way, it's always going to be consistent across the board. It's never going to have any inconsistency when it comes to transitioning from the roof to the patio of the house. Okay, you can add this here if you want to. You can add in some glass if you want to have your patio fenced in. I know a lot of people with their suburban houses IRL actually do have like netting on it for whatever reason. So if you want to have netting on it, or you want to do glass to represent that netting on the patio, if you guys are American, you guys have netting, you guys can do that. Or if you guys just prefer netting in general, that's some ways that you guys can do the netting. Now for the inside here, I'm going to simply use light gray concrete, and actually we can clear out our entire inventory. We're going to actually be able to transition over to the next part, which is going to be the outside and the glass portion of the house. So clear your inventory, grab light gray concrete, grab the black stained glass paint again. You will definitely need some decorations for the outside. I say use a couple trees, some leaves, some oak logs, and get some gravel, because you're going to need that for your walkway. And then the light gray concrete is also going to be used for the driveway to the house as well, since the concrete is slightly discolored IRL. So fill in the concrete on the inside of your garage. This is just make it a little bit more realistic on the inside, and then cover up this part with glass. Now that that's done, oh, and also one more thing, guys have not already, go ahead and make your door right here to your garage from the inside of the house. You guys can access that. I know I didn't include that earlier, but make sure you guys do that before we forget to do that. All right, now go ahead, fill in the glass, close that door if you don't want bugs getting in. No, I'm just kidding, there's no bugs, but still, trying to be funny. Okay, that's all good. Now we're gonna go ahead and do your pathway. Pathway should be 3 blocks wide, and however long you want to have it until you get to the road where the main highway is. Just do it however you prefer. I'm gonna do mine out like this, and then I'll construct a little mock road so you guys can see what the main highway would look like. If you're an American and you guys live in the rural areas of the world, you would know what I'm talking about. So really quickly, move this pig out of the way, because I don't know why Porky is sitting in the middle of my driveway, but he needs to move temporarily. I'm relocating him. Don't worry, I'm not going to kill Porky. I'm not a murderer. I'm going to relocate him. Yeah. So, going to make sure that I fill in the driveway here. Okay. Now, go ahead and there we go. Perfect. Now, if you want to do any leaves or anything for your driveway, make sure you have the oak logs underneath it, just so that they don't despawn. And if you want to also have an oak fence, which that's what the fences were for earlier, you can do that. And you don't have to have them necessarily facing upwards. You can. I personally don't do that. I just have them sideways, so that way it's just pretty straightforward, and I don't have to pause each time to like add the leaves on top or make sure it's correct facing. I can just do it and get it over with. They should not despawn either way. However, if they do, you can always replace them. Now, if you want to do the fence, grab the oak fence, like I mentioned earlier. You're going to start from the outside here, have a 1 block gap, and go all the way up to the road. So right there. Same thing over here, do a 1 block gap, and then have it go all the way up to the road. If you want to have a backyard and you want to do one of those, you can. I personally only recommend doing that if you feel comfortable making additional landscaping in the back. I'm just not going to do it for time's sake, but I just thought I'd be worth mentioning that you guys can do that if you choose to. Now, for your road, if you do a road and you want to have a mailbox, make sure it's a block out from the actual house, so you're not accidentally putting your mailbox too close to the house or too close to the road. Now you're going to do the shoulder of the highway. This is for my Americans. If you're from Europe, your roads may look different than mine. This is just an American rural highway because I'm from the South. So this is how ours look down here. But if you're from another region, it might look slightly different than this. So just keep that in mind. I'm just doing a southern I can't talk, Southern American style rural highway. So for this, I'm just going to do my shoulder, which is a 1 block wide gray piece, followed by a white shoulder line. Do the lane, which is 3 blocks wide, so it's a 2-lane highway. Do the yellow concrete, so 1, 2, 1, 2. Keep doing this all the way until I get to the end of my mock highway in the middle here. This is supposed to symbolize the rural passing lines that we have. So gray concrete to fill in between these gaps right here, and then just copy the same thing on the other side. So do the other half of the highway. So 1, 2, 3, then white line for the shoulder line. Then you guys can do the gray concrete. You know, something interesting that comes to mind, if you guys have never seen them before, if you've never seen rumble strips before, some rural highways do have rumble strips on them if they're 2-lane highways. If you want to create a rumble strip, I'm going to show you guys an example on how to create a rumble strip on the side of your highway, as well as some signage for like deer and whatnot while I'm doing this video, so you guys can see how that looks. So let me do this first, and then I'll use the shoulder line on the right hand side to show you guys how to create what's called a rumble strip. And you don't always see them on interstates, but you do see them. You don't always see them on interstates, but you do see them sometimes on both interstates and rural highways. It just depends on where you live. So this is how I create my rumble strips. So what I do for my rumble strips, I just create a 1 block gap in here and then use a slab to mimic the drop off in the rumble strip where it divots. And that's how you'll create a hypothetical rumble strip. So I'm gonna just do this until I get to the end. So realistically, if you had, say, a car that drifted off to the right, they wouldn't drop like a pothole. What they would feel is like a little bump in the road. That's what this is. This is the rumble strip that goes on the highway, so that if people are dozing off at night, they don't crash into a guardrail. So yeah, that's how you create a rumble strip. And if you want to create a deer crossing sign and you don't have mods like on Bedrock Edition, you don't have the mod for it, you guys can always do like this. Take a bamboo sign, because bamboo signs are more visible at night. And what you can do is and then if you really wanted to and you wanted to create a deer, hold on. Space. Or you could do 3 or just do 2. I personally would just do this. Space. It's not hard to do, but it can be kind of tricky. So yeah, you can do that. And if you want to do the antlers, not that. There's a way to do the antlers. If you can't get the antlers, well, like I can't get the antlers right now, just leave it like that. And then you have like a little kind of line drawn deer. If you have a mod and that has a deer crossing sign like on Java Edition, or if you have the road mod for Bedrock Edition add-on, you guys can use those signs instead. If you guys don't have those, or you don't have the money to get them, you guys can always just create one like this and just use this as your deer crossing sign until you can get one. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this little episode on how to build a suburban house or a rural house, if you really want to think of it that way. Let me know how I did in the comments down below, and please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.